Do you think George Bush believed that the information saved Heathrow and Canary Wharf?
I expect he did. He's an honourable man, as far as I know. I don't think he would lie. But well, I don't.
I agree.
and what do you make of what the head of MI6 said the other day in his speech, that if we hold back and don't pass on intelligence out of concern that a suspect terrorist may be badly treated, innocent lives may be lost that we could have saved?
No,
in other words, that if you are told things, you have to act on it, whatever the source.
Of course you do. If you've got information after the fact that may have come from a foreign intelligence agency that you have doubts about, if you believe that will save not just British lives but anybody's lives, you have to say it, you have to use it.
And that's not condoning torture?
It's not condoning torture, because it's after the fact. You get an intelligence report and you have to act on it. But you should utterly condemn torture. It really doesn't work.
Douglas Murray?
Well, of course. I mean, everyone condemns torture, but the problem with the waterboarding issue was that the President was given the advice by his legal advisors that waterboarding did not constitute torture. Now, this country believes that it does.
Do you believe that it does or not?
And I think it's very much borderline. I don't think it's it's torture in the sense that most people... I don't think it's torture in the sense that most people describe it as. I mean, you know, look, put it this way. Everyone agrees that, for instance, pulling out people's fingernails is torture. It's medieval, barbaric torture. Waterboarding has actually been tried by quite a lot of people, quite often used in anti-interrogation techniques by special forces. A friend of Clive's and mine, Christopher Hitchens, underwent it for Vanity Fair magazine at the request of the editor.
And decided it was torture within 5 minutes.
And he decided it was torture. But I'm just saying that if you know, there was an actor in the BBC series Spooks who got waterboarded as part of his method acting. Now, he didn't get his fingernails pulled out for method acting. The editor of Vanity Fair didn't send one of his columnists to have their fingernails pulled out for method acting.
That's a totally artificial distinction. You're saying it's not torture if they don't physically harm you. I mean, you're suggesting that white noise, because waterboarding doesn't actually remove part of the body or inflict physical injury.
It's obviously in a grey area, and George Bush's legal advisors told him that it was not illegal. Now, the question is whether or not the ends justified means by that. I think they do. I think the figure that the President gave out in his book is that 100 people, there were 100 people captured, 30 of those people were put into a CIA interrogation scheme, and of those, 3 people were waterboarded. Well, we have heard for years from all sorts of lobby groups and all sorts of decent people, but nevertheless, we have been hearing for years that America tortures, George Bush is a war criminal, and so on. It turns out that 3 people were waterboarded by the American officials. I think that if that saved lives, it was worth it. It was a good call.